Good day. I know it's gonna go live closer to 8 o'clock, but I had to like kind of get the vibe really quick for what I was about to do because this is like sudden, dude. Like it's so crazy. We just got into 2020. Um, so let me just start off by saying that I hope that everyone will begin their 2020 with like peace and love and create like a level of finding sanity within this year, but I can already sense that it's gonna be a little crazy, this year. This year is gonna like be a little extra. Hi Michelle, how are you? I know I'm finally live. I'm sorry it took me a minute. Um, so here's the topic. And I know, like I said, I ain't forget people want the Kurt Cobain, people want all these different readings, but I like to do readings when things are just kind of like really fresh and happening in the moment. It motivates me. It gets me into a space to where I can, you know, meditate. I can focus on the things that I need to do. And I can just kind of like motivate myself to, I guess, get out of the, I don't want to say funk, maybe funk. I don't know what to describe it, how to call it, but just kind of get out of like this little space that I'm kind of like in coming into this 2020 thing. So it's kind of interesting because Nick Gordon, everyone heard the news about him passing. And I was just like, so it's like every time that, people be like, yo, come out, let's go do something for New Year's. And for some reason this year, I'm just like, I'm not in the fucking mood. Like, I'm not in the mood to be out anywhere. I'm not really in the mood. And maybe I'm just like, maybe I just don't want to be bothered or whatever. But then I just like, I get like this weird sense or of like thought that comes to my mind. And it's just like, yo, 2020 is like, it's going to be a good year. Like, it's going to be a good year for people. But, I was like, even at the top of the year, there's going to be death. And I'm just like, man, already? Like, we just got into this. And I mean, I guess I shouldn't be that surprised, because it happens. Life happens, we don't have any control over time or how things are supposed to go. But it's an interesting thing. So let's jump into this really quick because here's what I wanted to do. I don't really know what Nick Gordon's date of birth is. What I want to do is I want to focus on Whitney. I want to focus on Bobbi Kristina. If the energy of Nick does come through, that's fine. But I wanted to focus on those two primarily because I'm just going to tell you without turning over any cards, without like doing any extensive research about like, oh, what happened to Whitney and everybody else and all this other stuff. Like the way that I feel is like, I feel like Nick was the fall guy. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. Like without shuffling anything, I just feel like Nick was the fall guy. It's not. I don't want to, completely say, oh, he ain't had nothing to do with nothing or whatever. But I just get like this weird feeling that there's just way more people behind what we are currently looking at, and I just feel like everybody is expected to just kind of like let things go because this person is gone, because this person is dead. And so now that's supposed to justify what happened to Whitney or what happened to Bobbi Chris. And I just feel like that's just not, something just ain't right. Something ain't right. It ain't right. And I was just like kind of inspired, so what I want to do, I'm going to take my cards. Okay. Y'all know how this goes. We use these cards. These are the ones that I'm going to show online. My other deck is what I'm going to use to get a bit more personal, get a bit more in depth, do my best to find information as far as like the kind of, you know what I'm saying, like the cream of the crop of the story, if that makes sense. That's what I'm doing with my other deck. So what I'm gonna do, okay, is I'm using my Oracle deck, okay? I'm using this first, okay? And I want to figure out, I'm gonna figure out the state of mind of where Whitney is. I want to figure out the state of mind of where Bobbi Chris is. And then if, you know, because Nick, he's fucked up. I'm not even gonna lie. That's the energy that I feel from him. He's just all the way fucked up. And I just want to see where he's at. I kind of already know where he's at, but I just want to see if the cards kind of confirm where he is mentally. And we're just going to get into it. And you know, I feel like Whitney's going to be the main one that's kind of driving this conversation, just to be completely honest with you. So I'm going to give all props and respect to her, to let her say and, you know, confess or say whatever it is that she needs to say. So forgive my little outfit. It's just like boobs everywhere, man. I don't know what to do about it, but they're here. So anyway, so let's get to it. So let me focus on Whitney. Let's start with Whitney first, okay? Whitney's birthday is August 9th, 1963. And thank you guys for joining. And I just wanted to let you guys know something. I don't know when Nick Gordon's birthday is. If people can find out when Nick Gordon's birthday is, that would be phenomenal. But I don't think that it's really out there. Or maybe it will be released at another time. But either way, I have his name. I have his face. And I can still do my best to like kind of use his energy in order to communicate whatever's going on in the moment. And so let's figure out how Whitney's energy is right now. What is going on with Whitney Houston's energy in regards to this situation? How is she currently feeling overall, or whatever she has to say? So I'm turning over. Very good. Okay. Here we go. Card number 1. She is on the temple path. So Whitney is in this space right now to where she is saying that she has had enough time to find a level of peace, a level of stability within herself, because I wanted to make sure that she's willing to communicate. So I'm happy that this card came out. This is Archangel Gabriel. He's in charge of the voice, the vocals. And she is like, I'm going to speak and say what is on my mind. I've had enough time to be at peace within myself. I've had enough time to be reflective about the things that have happened within this life, the things that have happened to other people around me. I've been in a space to where I needed to have this transition happen in my life in order to be strong for my children. Okay, my babies. That's what she's saying. I need to be strong for my babies. Whether if you guys agree with that or not, that I'm just putting that opinion out there. I'm just channeling it how I feel. Because she's putting into the near future the storm warning. She feels that with this particular card, okay, this storm warning is like when shit hits the fan. You understand what I'm saying? And so she's saying that there's a lot that's happening with this particular situation that's surrounding Nick's death, okay? This is something to where he has struggled with, you know, dealing with this death for a very long time. But here's the situation though, okay? I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to say that this person is 100% scot-free, pure of anything. But the way that they did this situation, it's not all on him. And that's what she's saying to me. It is not all on this young man. I feel that this young man, she is saying, has been ill-advised. She feels that this was a situation to where even family members from her own DNA, okay? From her own background. And even from her own association with the music industry itself. She's pulling those two situations in, okay? She's saying that Nick was the fall guy, okay? That is what she is saying. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it confused. Because, see, the media will sit here and try to tell you whatever story that they need to tell you. But at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is that everything is not what it seems. Everything wasn't as it seemed when she initially passed away. And forgive me, I'm just like kind of like going through different cards, but I do have this last card here. She is saying, please have an open heart to the angel of love, okay? She is still welcoming this kid, this young man with open arms, with forgiveness and love. She is saying that simply because of the fact that, as I stated before, everything is not as it seems. It has been a turbulent situation for not only her, but it has been very turbulent for her children. And that's what she is saying, her children. And she does not care what anybody else has to say. It is pure love for her children. This is a legal situation. Look at contracts. You understand? You see, let me tell you something. She's a very, very spiritual person. Okay, Whitney. And this is why I'm glad that she was showing me this Temple Path card, because with the Temple Path, it's a space to where she's kind of like, it's kind of like she's like in this like gorgeous garden, and it's very like, you know how like you have like the pantheons, and it's like beautiful flowers, and she's dressed in a beautiful purple dress, and she's gorgeous and just radiant. You know what I mean? Like that's just her energy. That's how I see her. She's telling me that no matter what people try to do to you, when you have so much strong faith within life, no one can take away the relationship that you have between you and God. No matter what kind of contract you sign, no matter what people try to do to possess you, try to do to captivate what God has given you, they can't take it away from you. You understand what I mean? They cannot take that away from you. There can be millions of dollars on the table. Hell, there can be hundreds of thousands of billions of trillions of dollars on the table. You understand? But nobody, when your time comes, no one can own what God has given you. I need to make that extremely clear. They can take all the money in the world. They can take all the assets in the world. They can hold on to every catalog possible. They can hold on and say, you know what? If it wasn't for me, she wouldn't have had this start. If it wasn't for me managing her, she wouldn't have had this. If it wasn't for me, you know, taking care of her when she was sick, this person wouldn't have this. And you have no idea how ignorant you can be without actually understanding that God gave Whitney the voice, and you had the opportunity to tag along and be a part of a bigger spiritual experience. Now, I'm sorry, I just kind of feel like this is just her energy. I don't know what's going on. She's like, we are going to go. I'm sorry, I had one more card that I taken out. She's like, show that card. So let me show it. The journey card. Okay. She's like, we're going to go down a whole journey today, because she's just going to say how she feels. She wants this to be a situation to where she's making things very clear. She wants to make things very clear. She wants to lay things out through certain situations. So I'm going to do that. I want to understand certain situations with Bobbi Chris, okay? Let's focus on Bobbi Kristina really quick. And please, I get like, and here's another thing that she's saying, okay? She understands that there's a lot of controversy between her relationship with her ex-husband Put some respect on the man's name. This man lost a whole family that he created, that he started with, and now everybody has to suffer. And even if there is some sort of justification from Nick being dead, that's still a wound, and that's still a reminder that his ex-wife and his daughter are no longer on this planet. So I just say that people just try to have a little bit more respect. Look at that. The heartache, heartbroken. You understand? Like, have a little bit more respect for the man, because there's just like so much. Look at that. Anxiety, all that stuff. See? Look. Just so much stress. It's not really helping him, and people are putting all this blame on him that he has something to do with something. That's unfair. That's really unfair. And I don't think that, you have to understand, in order to really be that sinister, you understand, if there was anything that Whitney or that Bobbi got into, they were always there for each other, because it was them against the media. And yeah, sure, they had their problems, they had their issues. They're not the most, prim and proper for Hollywood character, because I'm sure that they wanted, Whitney to just run off and marry some white man, and that would just be Clive Davis's dream. That was from Whitney. But they loved each other. They had some real black love at the time. You understand? And so it's just a matter of just like having some respect. Okay. So really quick, this is for Bobbi Kris. Okay. This is a situation to where like she's in a space of again, like victory, battling basically Archangel Michael, battling any demons, any situations that are about to come up in this storyline. She is happy to be with her mother. She's making it very clear that she is okay. She is happy to be with her mother. She's moving forward and no longer allowing the situations of this earth to kind of burden her, the demons of this earth to burden her. She is free. She is healing herself the more time that she is spending with her mom. And she is putting out the financial constraint card. And I'm just like, so why did this happen? Why are certain things happening the way that they are? Financial constraint. People have put themselves into a lifestyle within the family, live in a specific lifestyle that only her mother and, certain people that her mother has basically given privileges to were supposed to live that type of a lifestyle. And so that's the reason why certain situations in regards to what we see now, of certain things happening. I'm sorry. And I have to say this, and I'm just using my own personal intuition. Okay? Because here's the thing, even with Bobbi Kris and all this other stuff, okay? I just couldn't understand why her. You understand what I mean? And she passes the same way. And Archangel Metatron is saying Bobbi Kris is like 100%. She's like, I'm doing my best to keep this spiritual connection going. She's like, I'm all up in here. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. Because I just can't understand how someone can basically, forgive me if I'm looking over to the side, but I'm like laying out specific cards that will represent who different people are, so that way I can get into more detailed readings with my other deck. Okay, so that's the reason why I'm kind of like sorting through cards really quick, because we're just going to jump into it. She's saying with Archangel Metatron, like she's like, I'm going to show you within your third eye what things are, because I'm like, am I seeing this stuff right? Because see, the thing is that people say, okay, yeah, Nick is kind of like when Whitney, it's like, how can I say it? It's like knowing when certain people's defenses are weak, right? Okay. Whitney had her situations going on. She had different things happening. But I keep hearing over and over again from Whitney, and I also hear from Bobbi Kris, I do not trust security. I don't know why. I do not trust security. Because, and like I said, maybe it could be It could be people that look like security, or maybe it just could be an entourage of different men. But I just kind of feel like these are just very much bigger, much taller, much stronger men, even stronger than Nick. And I just kind of get like this weird feeling that like he's just the fall guy. And these people are just like like hired on another level to get this thing done, to get it done. And people are supposed to like fulfill contracts and to say, you know what? Okay, well, let's make Bobbi Kristina the new star. She couldn't even breathe after 3 months of losing her mama. And y'all trying to tell me that after she done lost her mama, y'all gonna do a TV show on her? Y'all gonna put her on a TV show? Knowing that she is going through the most traumatic time of her life and she can't even process what's happening, but she has this battery in her back. People are placing this particular battery in her back to create financial well-being. Temple Path. She's like, I'm with mom. So I'm like, all right, Temple Path, cool, with mom. So it just kind of bothers me. Like the whole situation of watching, oh, like this is where we buried your mother and all this other stuff like that. And God forbid this poor girl is going through the most, and people are putting like this battery in her back in order to either make her be the next Whitney or make her find her career in Hollywood or whatever the situation is. The whole thing to me, I'm sorry, it was just disgusting. In my personal opinion, it was just disgusting. It was very selfish. It was very cold. They did not allow this young girl to just kind of be to herself. Like, who pushes a TV show on a child? And all of a sudden, like, there's just no level of just allowing her to grieve. And everybody's just kind of going along with it. You know, even, let's be for real, even Nick kind of went along for the ride too. Like, you know, we got things to do. And, you know, there was times of neglect. There was times to where everybody's like kind of just creating like this level of abandonment. And I think he feels really fucked up for that. And I can see that. And I'm very much aware of that, because they used him too. You understand? It's all use, basically. I'm going to see how Nick's energy is. Now, keep in mind, I just came across something. They were talking about how he passed from an overdose. But the thing that's so interesting is they're saying that something black, like some sort of black tar, came out of his mouth. And here's what I'm thinking. It could be from a situation to where maybe it could be an overdose of medication, of pills, or maybe it's just like something that happened within the liver itself. But I just kind of feel like certain things, and maybe they might roll this as a suicide. More than likely they will. But I just kind of feel like this was just spiritually inflicted on this man. This was premeditated. This was like spiritually inflicted upon him to take the blame for something bigger. So let's see what we have. Okay. So this is what I have. He's showing me man holding heart. You know what I'm saying? This is his current space. And he could, like I said, he could be a fire sign, water sign, or whatever, but he's showing me that he's in a very sensitive space. Doing his best to be in the space of love as much as possible. This is not easy for him. This is a transitional period. He's saying, I've moved into the door to spirit, leaving who I was behind. And I hope that there can be some level of forgiveness and people can look within their hearts to find forgiveness. He's saying that his family, he's showing me community. He's showing me his family. He's showing me the people that care for him and love him and that support him. He's grateful that they are going to give him the best homecoming ever, but they're going to look deeper into this. They're not just going to let this go. And he's saying, please have patience. Have patience, because everything is not as it seems, okay? Everything is not as it seems, and things will eventually come together and reveal itself on a deeper level. The things that have happened to him and the things that have happened to Whitney and Bobbi. It's much deeper than what it seems. They're only scratching the surface, and they're trying to cover it up with just using his energy to close the door. But he's saying, I can finally walk away once the truth comes out. I'm walking away. I'm walking away from this situation, knowing that my conscience is cleared from this. Simply because of the fact that like I said, everything is not as it seems. Okay. So moving into the next deck. Okay. Can't show you this deck. My cards are special and very powerful. So what I'm doing is I have two cards here. Okay. I have the Queen of Wands. I'm using the Queen of Wands, and then I'm using the Queen of Cups as Bobbi Kris. The Queen of Wands is Whitney. And then I'm using the Knight of Cups as Nick. Okay. So I'm placing Bobbi Kris and Whitney together. And I just want to ask them, how do they feel? And this is going to be their combined energy. Okay. So hopefully this is making a little bit of sense to you. Let me see. I'm just going to read these comments really quick. Just take like a little break. I love Whitney Houston so much. Appreciate it. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining. Let me see. This is unfair that people should just stop pointing fingers at the loved ones who survived. That goes for any situation, any human being, indeed. But that's what they do. And it's so crazy because they often make, I just keep feeling like people just are so quick to point the fingers at the people that are in the spotlight and not necessarily look at the people behind the spotlight. Does that make sense? Like the people who know how people's schedules are going to be, who know, where the tour dates are going to be at, that know, everybody's security, that know who's coming in and out of people hotel rooms, different things like that. And y'all trying to tell me that little old Nick Gordon is the only one responsible for this, while people hosting parties as soon as they favorite singer dead? And they're going to make sure that they spirit just don't miss any type of party that they have for them, even if they didn't want to be there. I kind of wonder. I'm getting into some heavy stuff, y'all. So let's just see what this is really quick, how they feel towards him. Okay. Okay, so here are the cards that I currently have. With the Knight of Cups in the on the crown in the subconscious mind, there is the Page of Wands. So this Page of Wands is basically showing me like, yes, Nick was a very proud type of person. He kind of wanted to have his own influence and his own significance, of course, being around these powerful women. But the thing is it's like they're still showing me the Five of Cups in the past. So they're showing me that they're still, they're showing me, of course, they're upset over the things that have happened to him. They're upset over him losing his control. They're saying losing control over everything and feeling out of control, and watching him go through all of this suffering. He felt very isolated and lonely and very hurt. And this is a very challenging situation. They're showing me with the Knight of Swords in the situation. So they're kind of saying like, look, we're not too happy. We're not happy with the back talk. We're not happy with, with the way that he treated certain situations. We're not happy with certain things that happened or that went down. We're not happy with certain aspects of certain characters, of certain levels of aggression that he had that a lot of people were not aware of. but they are showing me the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands is basically partnership. Like, we will work through this. I don't know what this is about, but they're just like, look, we will work through this. They're showing me like the Ten of Wands in the near future, Five of Wands, that, their challenges, and the Two of Pentacles. The last card that I did turn over is the Sun card. So again, this is like something that they have to kind of go through their own personal growing pains with this particular situation, because there was a lot of damage. And the only thing that seems to bring these three people back together again is because they understand the process of what they've gone through in this death. Does that make sense? They know the process of what they've gone through the transformation, if that makes sense. And it's so interesting because I'm looking at this Knight of Swords, and like even like this like black substance is kind of like coming out of his mouth, like from what he is speaking. You understand? And it's kind of showing me like maybe liquid in the lungs or something like that, or like poison in the lungs. I don't know what that's about, but that's what I keep hearing with Nick, is like poison in the lungs. And it's just like weird. All of this stuff is probably not making sense all the way, but I'm sure it's probably going to make sense later. So everybody just listen as it is. All I know is that I'm just reading this really quick. All I know is that everyone that was a part of Bobbi Kristina's entourage kept showing up. DOA, Max Lomas, Bobbi Kristina, Nick Gordon, The Voice, Whitney Houston. Contract hit. You don't say, child. You don't say, huh? And I just kind of feel like it just makes me wonder if certain things, like, I just felt really bad for him. Like, even when they said, oh, he's the one that's, responsible for these deaths and everything. I understand. Yeah, go after him. You know what I mean? I'm sure that on some level that he's the level of, he'll take the responsibility for being an enabler on some level. You understand? But there's more than one enabler in this situation. There has to be more than one enabler in this situation. He does not have that much power to supply everything that, that was toxic, to these women. Remember when he was on Dr. Phil? Actually, I don't think I actually saw that. If you want to share what happened when he was on Dr. Phil, please do your best to share that. I'm more than willing to listen. I just want to see what's going on with Bobbi, Chris, and Whitney's energy. And if they are going to show me anything that happened to them in regards to their death. And then I'm going to take Nick on his own, basically, and see if, certain cards kind of correlate. We're just going to look into it. So let's check this out. And again, I often tell people I appreciate y'all if y'all donate. I appreciate y'all. And if you guys want to just do like Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, I will put all that information below after I complete this video, but you can do so by supporting Queen Prodigy 369 at Gmail through Zelle, PayPal, or Google Pay. So if you do Cash App, it is Queen Prodigy 369 with the cash sign in the front, or you can hit that super chat. So let's keep it pushing, right? Here we go. So I said, what happened, honey? Like, y'all tell me what's going on with this death situation. Gotcha. Okay. So they're showing me, number one, they're putting the death card in the past. Okay. Because they know that I want to focus on that. Okay. And they're like, thank you. They're putting the Ace of Cups in the root. So it's just like, this is a new love. This is a new energy to where, this is kind of, it's like a weird, it's a strange transition, because sometimes it's like crazy that sometimes it takes death to create, to recreate the family dynamic that was so comfortable for you in the past. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like a homecoming situation for them. So they're very much with each other. They want to make that very clear, is that they love each other. And it's like very, it's a symbolic situation, because it's like, she's like, the thing that Whitney is very proud of, she's kind of showing me, she's like, even if I gave life to my daughter, okay, in this world, I gave life to my daughter, but it was a blessing to give life to her again in the afterlife, to welcome my baby into the afterlife and to be there for her and to let her know that she does not have to be afraid and she does not have to be scared. And she could have lived a full life, and she could have had a family, and she could have had a successful career, or whatever it is that she had going on. But I feel like Whitney is just like, I keep hearing they wouldn't let her. They were not going to let her, simply because of the fact that she has her loyalty to me, and she wouldn't do anything to tarnish my name. They were going to try to use her to speak ill against her mother. Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe this sounds crazy or whatever, but I'm just saying whatever it is that's coming to me. And she respects her daughter's loyalty. There were a lot of snakes that were surrounding a situation, and it's very difficult to trust people that never had your intentions to do good by you at all. So the Ace of Pentacles is on their crown with the Page of Swords in the subconscious mind. This is a deviant female who is working within the family home and within the family business. Deviant female who is showing me the Wheel of Fortune is in the situation. They are trying to get their hands on a large, substantial amount of money. They're kind of laughing, because it's like they're sitting back and they're just kind of laughing at the situation. Like, it's going to be so crazy to see how this family is going to be fighting over money, and how they're still kind of fighting over money and still trying to possess certain things over the estate. But the interesting thing about all of this nonsense that they've done, the Judgment card is coming, is what it's saying. Judgment is coming. The Five of Swords is showing me the defeat card. And then the Justice card is the last card. So basically, they're kind of showing me that there's going to be a closer scope looked into this particular situation with their death. But the thing that's crazy is that certain people, and I'm like splitting the deck and looking to see what's up with this deviant female with this Page of Swords energy. And it was kind of showing me how they were like the kind of active key person to like kind of organizing things to kind of go down the way that it did. And it seems so unsuspected, is what she thinks. But I know who it is. I'm not going to say who that person is. Y'all could probably say who it is, but I ain't going to say who she is, because she did the most. I'm going to just say it like that. The whole thing is just such a tragedy. Let it not overshadow the great gifts Whitney left for us. Maybe they'll be at peace indeed. Nick had it coming to him, karma, on some level. Sure, I can probably agree with that. Sadly, not surprised about Nick. I wonder if he was an enabler himself, or what was really going on. How about I explain this to you? Do you ever feel like sometimes when men want to, if they're powerful women that have money, okay, and you're a male, and you want to find some sort of social acceptance amongst the men within the family, right? And even if, because keep in mind, this person, like other people said, this person came out of nowhere. Who is he? We don't know who he is, all this other stuff like that. But he's close to Bobbi Kris. He's close to different people, okay? And he's just trying to acclimate himself as a friend would, or as a boyfriend, or whatever you want to call him, as someone would within the family, to have some sort of acceptance, right? You as a man, if you were in his position, would turn to the men. You would want to be acclimated with the men in the family. Now, some men, they'll still reject you, and some men will say, you know what? This young blood is trying. Let's see what he will do. What if he can do certain things for us that might be beneficial for us? Did anybody think about that? Did anybody think about that? If he has the closest eyes to a situation, to being able to watch what's going on with these powerful women who have all of this money, it's just like how it's like people don't want to completely be guilty of touching what's happening, right? It's a perfect situation. You have to listen. It's so fucked up. I hate the fact that I have to ask people to think in such a deviant way. Okay, it's a very deviant type of energy. But I'm just trying to show you what's going on in people's minds when they're saying, well, he is so desperate to be one of us, to be one of us, to be amongst us, to be in this industry, or to be a part of the family, or to be a part of whatever the situation is. You know what I mean? Just to be in the circle. What can he do for us? What can he do? So I just kind of feel, like I said before, certain people just take the blame for certain things, and it's not completely what it is. It's not what you think it is. Is anybody paying attention to the time of all these individuals' deaths, the months, the years, and in between? Brown Girl Entertainment, thank you for pulling that up and suggesting that. That's interesting. Like, even the dynamic of, looking at Whitney. Whitney died, I can't recall the year, if anybody can remember the year, but I know it's like February 11th. And then Bobbi Kristina passed like August 5th, 2015. And then here it is, we have Nick Gordon, who died on New Year's Eve. I thought it was New Year's Day, but it's New Year's Eve. I don't think he made it into the new year. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing. I just kind of feel like 2012, right? So she left us 8 years ago. So 2012, Whitney is gone. Is going to be gone for 8 years. That's crazy. And that's on Brandy's birthday, which is interesting as well. But anyway, moving on beyond that point, like, this industry, let me tell you something. Because Whitney's saying something to me, and here's the thing too, like certain people are just trying to take their aggression out on Nick, and I do feel like certain legalities may continue to where they may try to press the family for whatever reason. I don't think that really there's going to be much success from that particular situation. I do feel that the attempts of what is actually happening should be looked towards Whitney's family. I don't know why, like, it's just like focusing on like certain people within that camp. I'm just going to say the camp. I ain't just going to blame the family. I'm just going to say the camp and certain people that were around Whitney. Has anybody noticed how fast the attention was taken off of Ray J and more so Lynn pointed at Nick? Just a thought. Interesting indeed. I just kind of feel like certain, like I said, certain people are just like the fall people for this particular situation. It's not what it seems. And let me tell you something, even with the funeral, with Whitney's funeral, I don't know why people just really didn't look at certain red flags or like certain things that were kind of going on with this. But it's just like people are not paying attention. I guess, like, it's so crazy because these cards kind of popped out of nowhere. So I'm just going to look into these cards really quick. But even it's like I'm talking about the funeral and it's talking about the World card, the Four of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, like giving that funeral. She's like, how the hell anybody could just go give my funeral over to Clive Davis and let him coordinate the whole damn show? And, in her service or in her own personal memory, she's just like, you know what? She's still, it's like, it's like she still has like this clear vision in her mind. There's nothing wrong with like the choir or anything like that when they did their sermons and stuff like that. That was beautiful. But it's just certain segments to where you can go into a divine place or into a divine church and think that it's okay to put out your sacrilegious sacrament after you've done so many hurtful things out of the sake of wanting to possess everything. But you could never have my voice. And that's what she is saying. You can never have my voice. And that's like something that she's laughing at. Like she is just laughing. Like you can take everything. You can have it all. You can take it all. The labels can take it all. You can hide. You can put different people around to take it all. You can put different people around to destroy. You can do all of that. And it's not to say that she wasn't that people didn't actively participate. But come on, you have a lot of money. You have a lot of sin, and all these people say that they want to help you, but they're not helping. They're creating. They're the main ones that are saying, oh, we think that there's something wrong with these people and we want to help them, but they're the main ones poisoning them. They're the main ones that were just like, yo, how can anybody sit there and say one thing and it's completely in contrary to what is actually going on? The absolute most. I'm not going to name drop, but you are so on point. Thank you so much. Yeah, what I miss while Queen is talking, fill me in. And again, like this, it's about talking about like Nick. It's talking about Nick. It's talking about Bobbi Chris. It's talking about it's talking about how everything is kind of happening in threes. Like I said, like how does this not? And I want to ask y'all opinion. Like how does this not look a certain way? You know what I'm saying? Like how does this not look a certain way to everybody that we see Whitney gone? Then we see Bobbi Chris gone. And then we see Nick gone. And they all lived in one house. They all lived together. Two of them mysteriously drowned in a bathtub. I mean, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen with this one. Personally. I'm sure it probably ain't in no bathtub or nothing like that, but I mean black tar coming out of there's some sort of asphyxiation that was going on with this. And maybe it could be the fact that he was choking on meds or whatever the situation is, going through deep depression. And that's kind of what I'm sensing, like going through deep depression or going through different situations. But I just get like this feeling that with what happened to him in court and how the media ganged up on him and how it was just too convenient for him to take the blame for Bobbi Kristina and for him to take the blame probably for Whitney as well. I'm not going to act like and say that there wasn't some level of influence, like I said, but you know how some people just seem to kind of feel like and it's no disrespect to Nick or whatever, but it just feels like somebody can kind of puppeteer him around to just, how can I say it, to gain acceptance. That's the best way to say it. To gain acceptance, to puppeteer him around. But at the end of the day, it can turn into a situation to where, like I said, he's an easy target for all of this to fall onto. And there's way more people. There's a whole organization behind what is going on and what's happening. And it's going to be revealed. It's going to bring itself back home. They're saying, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to find healing within whatever family unit that they need to find healing in, because, it's something that they have to talk through. It's something that they have to have like some sort of healing and processing through. And it doesn't mean that once you cross over that everybody's just going to be buddy and it's all going to be, whatever. But it's about It's about making sure that everybody finds resolute and peace with each other, finding peace when you cross over. Because like I said, and I feel bad for Nick, because I just kind of feel like it's not what it is. It's just not what it is. It's just not what it is 100%. I'm not going to say that his hands are 100% clean. I ain't going to say that. I will say that he can be a bit manipulative. I can say that he can be a bit controlling. I'll probably definitely say he can definitely be an enabler, okay? And probably be a bit aggressive. But I just kind of feel like when it comes down to a bigger plan, there's somebody behind him being a whole puppet. And he's the fall guy. That's kind of how I feel. Drugs is the whole driver of it, and all just so sad. They took everyone. Wish Whitney would have stayed well as she was. I'm sorry, it just keeps fading out. As she was trying when I Look to You was coming out. Yeah, but even that music video was very symbolic. I kind of feel like when with that music video, and I just kept hearing that in my head. I just kept, even when I saw that music video, I just kept feeling like, I was like, she's gonna cross. She knows that her time is almost up. She's going to cross, but she's seeing her death as something of serenity, of like the time when she was kind of like, even when they're trying to like drown her out or whatever, this is like, she's like, I'm baptizing myself. You understand? Like, they can't have me. They can't have my voice. And the thing that's so crazy is that like she has her voice. Like she was showing me with Archangel Gabriel. I'm sorry, let me just focus on like one more shuffle with Whitney. Let's just end it with her. Because before I was doing this reading, I said I just kept listening to It's Not Right, but It's Okay. I'm gonna make it anyway. Like I just kept, I don't know, that song was just like blaring. And I could just feel her energy, and she's just like back on fire. She's just like they can't have me. I'm back to myself. I'm back to my original self, and they cannot bind me anymore. They cannot have me. Look at that. Look at that. Look at this. Look at this. See, all tied up. People trying to bind her because they are jealous. Jealous people trying to bind anything that they can have from this woman because she was a gift from God. I don't care what nobody got to say. I'm sorry. Whitney was a gift from God. She really was. And you cannot bind. She is so happy. And I'm just going to show you these last three cards. She's showing me Angel of Love. She's showing me Door to Romance, Open Heart. She's like showing me Archangel Michael. He is ready to battle her demons. Like she's just, it's all this like love and this belief that there is a higher power and a higher authority that is looking out for her, and nobody can take that away from her. And she is she's like immersed in that belief or in that love, and knowing that nothing can touch her. Nothing can touch her. No matter how many times people try to lie and to deceit and to take money and to use and to abuse for their own personal selfish needs, they cannot have what God has given her. Action will be taken upon them is what she's showing me. She's having faith that Archangel Samuel, she's like, listen, if people are going to be playing on my name and going to be deceiving people for the sake of money and for the sake of the hard work that I have put into this situation, oh, don't worry. It's going to be strategized the same way that they strategized against me. It's going to be written out the same way that they wrote certain things out against me. Please believe it. She is speaking on it. Archangel Gabriel. She loves this Archangel Gabriel card. She's like, I got my voice back. The same way that people saw me at the height of my career with my voice and everything intact, it is back. She hasn't lost anything. They just tried to take everything away from her. But she is back. She is amongst the singing. She is gifted. She is singing where she is supposed to be singing. And this is what I couldn't understand. Like, She was supposed to do a gospel album even at the height of her career. She wanted to do that, and Clive would not allow her to, is what she's saying to me. She's spilling all the tea tonight. But she's like, she has all of like, she's done music. I'm sure, yes, she's done. I'm not gonna lie. She's like, wait. I've done different songs and different things, and you know, like singing in different movies and different stuff like that, of course. But she can give her voice to God now. That's what she's saying. That's the purpose. I can give my voice 100% to God and not feel any weight on me at all. I don't feel no weight. Like, that's just, she just feels easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just feels so relieved that she can just give herself to her spiritual creator and not have any guilt, because she's showing me like the industry tried to take my voice. They tried to take my gift. And sometimes people see things happening to other people and they don't realize that the entertainment industry will try to take things from you that are precious and put drugs and different things around you, because the only thing that they want is to use you for a tabloid story. They're trying to drain you. You understand? But she is saying that if you believe, regardless of what you are going through spiritually, nothing can bind you. Nothing of deviance can bind you, especially when you have angels on your side. Nothing can bind you. Okay? Nothing in that industry can bind you. Please keep that in mind. A gift from God. You said it all night. Thank you for this. Tonight's reading was so on point. I appreciate it. And thank you, like I said, for supporting. I appreciate you guys. If you guys want to do personal consultations with me, if you guys have questions or anything, feel free to do so. But I know I'm probably going to end this like in a few minutes or so. But I just kind of wanted to clarify her energy, because I felt her all around me. And I've just been kind of down like in the beginning of this year. And I'm just like, man, there's more stuff coming in 2020 and it's unbelievable. And then next thing you know, like, this man died in Florida from an overdose. And I could just like from that transition point, it's like very gray, very dull, like just very heavy. But even from his point of transition, he's going through a process of healing, you know, and going through a process of forgiveness. So I want people to have an open mind about this, okay? Just be a little bit more open instead of just focusing on Nick. Look at the people in the background. That's the main point, is to look at certain people in the background. It's not to say that, you know, to take his faults away or anything like that, but there are other people in the background that were far more critical, that were far more deceptive in this particular situation when it comes down. And it's all strategized. That's what she's saying. It was all strategized. But I promise you, with the strength of her fifth chakra, with Archangel Gabriel and focusing on Archangel Michael, she is speaking certain things into existence with her divine creator to make sure that her justice for her and her children it's going to come down. She said it's going to be served. I'm going to just say how she's saying it, because I keep hearing it over and over again. It's going to be served. Like, that's just how she's saying it. So I'm just letting it be what it is. Okay. Let me just read this for you. Okay. I feel as if the drugs, a lot of that was learned behavior. He was raised in the same house as Bobbi. This is just so sad to lose a legend, and then these young adults to hardcore drugs at that. And I just kind of feel like, but then again, yeah, there's hardcore drugs, and I just kind of wonder if it's also prescription, because I keep sensing like Percocets or like some sort of sleeping antidote as well. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe we need to see a toxicology report, but those are the things that I'm kind of picking up on. And I just kind of feel like it was a self-inflicted depression. You know what I mean? Like, for him to take all of the blame for this particular situation, you know, in regards to Bobbi Kristina, and then probably also feeling guilty about Whitney as well. But I just kind of feel like there's more behind the story He just happens to be the fall guy. It's easy for him to be the fall guy. And I just kind of feel like more is going, like I said, when he keeps saying it over and over again, there's going to be more things that are going to be revealed. I'm not going to let this just go away and let it just just go to sleep. And I just kind of feel like there are, she's telling me a lot. Because I'm like splitting the other deck, right? She's showing me the Queen of Swords. She's showing me the Moon card. And she's showing me the High Priestess. And she's showing me the Magician. She was like, let me tell you something about this woman right here. She said, everybody know who this woman is. And I'm going to talk directly to this woman. She's saying, you are a liar. You are a deceiver. You have done everything that you wanted to do to prey upon people's weaknesses, to make sure that your family and that everything that you have is intact off of my name. But she ain't gonna let this go. And she wants you to know that. So I don't know who I'm talking to. I mean, I think I know who I'm talking to. Let me tell you something really quick. Actually, she told me to say one more thing. She said, let me just say one more thing. Oh, Lou. Anyway, she told me to say one more thing, okay? She said to me, Bobbi Kris's auntie, y'all need to listen to her. Listen to Bobbi Kris auntie on Bobby Brown's side, the sister. Listen to her. Listen to her. Because she does, on some levels, yes, she has it together. Okay? But all she is saying, like I said, I don't know when certain people's birthdays are or what's going on. But she's saying something to me. She's like, you can go ahead and take all of those things to try to perfect your own life. But even your own child see how miserable and how evil you are, honey. Lou is on it tonight. So, Whitney, let me tell you something. I feel like when I'm getting, she's showing me happy family. She's like, she ain't concerned. She has her family. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to end this, y'all, because my battery low and I don't want to lose this live. This is a good ending segment. Please donate. Please support me. Hit me up at Queen Prodigy 0369 on Instagram. And thank you for donating, joining the live. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all.